I am Kang! You talk to ants.
Whosoever hears this audio, if they be worthy, shall possess the insight, human, and superhuman abilities of the world's mightiest metahumans. Accompanying this journey of high-quality nerd commentary, we got my man Colton, a.k.a. Pizza Parker. Talk to the people.
It's your boy Colton, a.k.a. We Was Kangs, a.k.a. Frederick Douglass Kang, a.k.a. The Block Kang, a.k.a. the Kang that, like, be sneaking in the corner and, like, you don't know he there, but he know you there.
We also got the greatest engineer across all planes of existence, my son Gasser. What's up?
Yo, what's up?
Yes, sir. And you know who it is. It's your boy Dennis, aka Old Dirty Dennis, aka the Council of Denim, aka He Who Pods, aka Paul Get It Out the Mud, aka if you thought my AKs were wild, just wait until you meet my variants. Yo, welcome to another issue of the Mighty Metahumans podcast. Fellas, what's going on? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Yes, sir.
Your boy is re-energized.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things
You turned
happening.
up?
Yeah, no, I'm turned up. Like, just
feeling good.
feeling great.
Nice,
like,
nice.
all around. Been going to the movies, been doing the photography.
Scorsese, yes.
Been editing. Been on TikTok.
Yes.
It's a lot of creativity going on.
I like it. My man is charged up, you know what I mean? How about you guys? How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling. How about you?
Man, I'm kind of like on my Colton shit. Like, I'm definitely charged up, you know what I mean? If you follow me on Twitter, you already know Cars is coming out like every week, every other week. You know what I'm saying? Niggas hitting sale records, 1,500 sales, you know what I mean? Shit going kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling good, feeling great, you know what I mean? Dropping these Zodiac cars and all that. And then on top of that, movies, you know what I mean? We got shit to review, got shit to talk about. And that's a great segue for what we talking about today. Ant-Man 3, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Quantumania.
Quantumania.
Okay, so
let's
are
start.
we doing? Do you want us to do like just raw without spoilers? How we felt about it?
At this point, like,
I mean, we are gonna get into the spoilers.
Yeah, we're gonna do spoilers.
I know that, like, again, you guys know the podcast. I am the shit talker. I'm also a talent, but Dennis, he is the nigga on the computer. He is Professor Xavier that stands up with the Cerebro. I'm Magneto. If you want me to come in and wild out, that's what I'm gonna come in and do.
Now we gonna start.
But do you want to start off with like just the?
Let's start with performances. Let's start
light
performances. Standout.
Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yep.
Janet Van Dyne.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors.
Mm-hmm.
Standouts.
Go ahead.
Enjoyed the relationship dynamic between Cassie and Ant-Man and Scott.
Okay. Father-daughter thing.
Yeah, I fucked with that. I fuck with also the family dynamic of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
gonna agree with that.
I fucked with the Goop. My son, Young Goop.
Yeah.
Like he's like a non-annoying Korg in my opinion. Like, I hate Korg. Okay. Everybody knows I hate Korg. Like, but the Goop is cool. Let's see. Any other standouts that I could think of?
I mean, everybody can't be a standout.
No, that's it.
So I'm honestly gonna mirror that. I thought this is, out of all three movies, this is the first time we really get to see Michelle Pfeiffer, like, kind of give her like acting chops a little bit.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Go
some
crazy.
action scenes and shit. Like, she was a bigger role in this movie than, I mean, clearly in the first one she wasn't there, but the second one she kind of had a little, and it was just, you finally get to see something about her. You know what I mean? Because she was the original Wasp, so she had to have skills at some point. You know what I mean? It wasn't just Hank the whole time. Like, she had to do something. So it was really cool to see more of her character and kind of get like a little bit of character development. It also touched on something I always had a major problem with, where it was just like, she went into the quantum realm and she just came back and was just like, cool. Like, it was just like, yo, you had this giant fucking, you just said nothing. You know what I mean? but we're gonna touch on that in a few. Obviously Jonathan Majors.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
killed, put his foot in the role. Like he literally that kick that he did at the end, that's what he did to the role, my nigga. Like,
All I'm saying is, if they lost this game, Jonathan Majors broke the NBA record. That's all I gotta say.
He put up 60 in
We're
the
gonna talk
losing
about
game.
it later. He put up 70 like Devin Booker in a game where they lost by 15. You know what I'm saying?
So
But that's if I feel like that. But y'all
Okay.
gonna have to stay tuned.
you know what I mean?
Feel like that.
I did like Cassie, you know what I mean? It felt a little you know, she reminded me of like Miss Marvel. We're just
She's a
like,
child.
you're not the superhero yet. You know what I mean? Like she's like ambitious, she wants to be, but she's not there yet. Like she's got to figure this shit out. You know what I mean? So I do appreciate, and she's young. Like it was kind of like the whole we just seen that with like Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. You know what I mean? Where she was doing too much and she was taking an Uber to the stakeout. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she still got to figure her shit out. And then on top, it's hard for her to figure her shit out. Her dad is Paul Rudd. Nigga, he's not serious to begin with.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you got me there.
You know what I mean?
Your dad's also a criminal.
Exactly.
Let's be
So
real.
it's just like, where are we gonna?
You on the path
How professional?
that makes sense.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Okay. So we showed a little bit of love. How about story? How did you feel about the overall story of what they were trying to accomplish in Ant-Man 3?
Okay. So
he took a little breath there. So I know
I'll
it's some sauce in this.
No. Yeah, because I'll try to be. Well, no, I'm gonna be subjective. 100% subjective as possible. The story dragged a little bit.
Okay.
I felt the time of the movie, and I feel like once I start feeling like I'm like, okay, where is this going? There's mad time passing. Like, what's happening here? Then I feel like that means that you probably either didn't convey your message the way you probably should have, or you wasted time. And I felt like that was probably my problem with the story of this movie, right? Like they wasted a lot of time. But if we're gonna go to the good parts, I feel like this is, and people might hate on this, but in the last few Marvel movies, this is one of the only ones where you get kind of clear answers of where things are going into the future.
Okay.
So I feel like even though the story progression in the current time while you're in there is bad pacing, the overarching story is good for a comic book movie that is basically telling you that like this is a timepiece and goes with things that go like into the future, and we're trying to give you a direction of what is actually happening right now.
Okay.
And that's like my probably least spoiler free until we get into the real juicy parts.
All right. So for me, I would say I agree with the idea that this is the first one that kind of gives direction wise. And I don't like giving bail, but at the same time, I feel like at some point before they kind of give you that direction, they have to introduce the pieces. And a lot of what made Phase 4 fuzzy was they used most of Phase 4 to introduce a lot of new people. And I don't know how, I feel like there's still time for them to tie in the introductions of certain people and how it benefits the overall story. And I want to put a pin in that, especially for like Moon Knight and, like the end credit scene and like how I feel like that stuff kind of connects. But I do feel like it did feel like it dragged a little bit, which is funny for a movie about time in a place where time doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's very ironic, but it does feel like the overall story and like arc, I do feel like they did a good job with the Darren arc for me. We're definitely going to talk about that. They did a good job for me because it makes sense. Like you're trying to tie things up, like loose ends. And that was a loose end from the first one. Because if this nigga disappeared into the quantum realm and we've been to the quantum realm mad times since Ant-Man 1. Where the fuck is this nigga? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just leave that gaping. Like, people talk about like Eternals with the giant hand in the world. Yes, that's a giant problem. But at the same time, for a character whose entire story revolves around this quantum shit, one of his major like nemesis disappeared there, and we're just never going to talk about it. Like, that would have been weird to me. You know what I'm saying? So like, for them to finally bring him up, and then the way in which they did it to, you know, kind of give fans that character that fans kind of wanted for a while. It worked. Like, it worked for me. And in a conversation you and I had about, because we could talk about MODOK, it made sense to me for him to be, you shouldn't have to take him serious. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a giant fucking head. He's like a 20-foot tall head with baby arms and baby legs.
Okay.
How serious am I supposed to take it?
Can I talk about MODOK?
Please.
Because that is a big reason why I understand why people don't like things about this movie.
Okay.
So, I understand everything that you said. Everything that you said makes crystal clear sense. But my honest and I will say humble opinion is that this is one of like the worst, like, we're trying to end somebody's stories I've seen Marvel do in like a long time. Like, on some real shit, like in that Iron Man movie, we got the fake 10 Rings nigga, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And he popped back out in Shang-Chi. And his story's whimsical as fuck. But it works. And
he's also a regular person.
And no, but this is what I'm saying. Like, you have a person who like is in the best Ant-Man movie.
Yes.
Literally is like their best like villain besides Kang now. Yeah. But like, and you do reduce him because again, Ant-Man was always funny. Like, again, we gotta always remember that Ant-Man was always tone-wise on the funnier side. It's not a Thor situation where Thor started off serious. The second one was also serious, but it was so forgettable that they said we gotta shake shit up on their head.
Yeah, they stayed.
Niggas laughed at the third one, and then they did that bullshit for the fourth one. Ant-Man always stayed true to what it was.
Yes,
where it was like the first one was like, this is a funny movie,
you know,
right?
I mean?
Like, it's a funny movie, and what I appreciated about Darren, if we're going to talk about him, in the first movie was he took his role so serious while also being a funny guy that, like, even the scene when they was fighting with the train set and he thought he was going to get rocked and it just, like... I was like, yo, this is fire. Like, and I feel like that sarcasm, that like, I know that this is a comedy movie, but I'm like being a serious guy, was amplified in a Thor way with MODOK in this movie. And again, I will agree that MODOK is a fucking floating head with tiny legs that kills, right?
Yeah.
But here's another thing. The nigga only killed in one scene, killed crazy in one scene, and in every other scene, it seems like this nigga was a modified organism designed to kind of kill.
I mean,
and
that was going to be my pushback. Like,
he was also
in his
like,
acronym, did he say he always kill? Or...
Oh my god!
Is it MODOK? Like,
while I do love propaganda like that, fuck that. MODOK sucked dick. Let's get to the real now. Let's go all the way negative. MODOK could not exist in this movie, and it would be better for it, in my opinion. In my very humble 100% opinion.
I mean, I could see that.
Replace MODOK with literally anyone else. And I'm sorry that sounds crazy, but like...
I mean, I understand why, though.
Literally.
Because if... I don't know if we get an Ant-Man 4. Let me just I don't know where the next time we see Ant-Man, how that shit works. So if this is just a strict... Like, because currently till this day, the only person that has 4 movies is Thor.
Yeah.
If this is it for Ant-Man and his trilogy, because I don't see Paul Rudd saying, give me 3 more. Like, I feel like he'll appear, but I don't feel like he's an Ant-Man 4. If this is it, you still want to close your loose ends. And like we were talking about before, I don't see a MODOK working in the real world. And one of the main reasons why is when you look at shit like, because I always thought Doc Ock was cool, right?
Yeah.
And then when he introduced himself in No Way Home, them niggas laughed at him. They were like, yo, your name is what, my nigga?
Dennis, let me present to you an idea. What if those loose ends suck? What if they tie them up and it's not fucking good?
That's
I
more
feel
than
like
possible. That's super possible.
That hurts the legacy. Again, I'm gonna be on your side real quick because I could understand from multiple sides. Anytime, and this is another gripe, right? Like MODOK's progression arc was, you made me suffer, you humiliated me, so I'm always gonna hunt you. I'm always gonna make you feel bad. I wasn't tight. I wasn't mad at all when he pulled up in the prison. And he was talking shit, and I was like, MODOK's fucking stupid. Remember, I told you this in the room. Like, I was like, yo, MODOK's fucking dumb. It's a big ass floating head. He humiliated this nigga. He made the nigga look crazy. Kang brought him back. He got him locked up. He got his daughter. Like, of course he's gonna come in and be like, nigga, it's your fault because of all this and that. And then even to your credit, I said when Cassie pulled up and said don't be a dick. And I seen everybody be like, why the fuck is she acting like that? And I was like, yes, but also, this is for young people also. Like, young people are going to be here, and they're going to make those whack-ass jokes like that. And then that's where, and this is where, before you make your point, and that's where I got personally upset, because then his whole redemption arc comes from, don't be a dick. What? I'm gonna not be a dick. I was like, y'all lazy. That's lazy.
All right. So going back to what we was talking about before that, one of my things with MODOK is, one, if you're going to introduce something ridiculous, especially in a quote unquote grounded universe, he's not going to work outside of the quantum realm, because everything in the quantum realm, anything could happen. Anything can exist. That's why we had the giant blob, nigga. Like, you can be ridiculous in there. Like, unless it's like cosmic. It can't just happen on Earth. So a nigga like that works in this, because even Kang was looking at this nigga like he didn't even care that MODOK was there. Like, MODOK was just a thing to him. It was just like, all right, bro, like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm talking to Ant-Man right now. Like, so him just existing, I know, I can see it in your face. Him just existing was, one, comic relief. Two, what you were talking about in the first movie about him being more like serious or whatever. Here's my pushback to that on characters in general, not Marvel, just characters in general. Sometimes they have characters like that where they're like overly being a dick, but they're actually insecure pieces of shit the whole fucking time.
That's true.
This nigga at his core wasn't in like this super, he was insecure, my nigga. It was just like he was trying to be he was like the kid in the small pool. He was the big kid in the small pool. And then he was put in a position where it's just like, yo, he doesn't have his money anymore, so he can't be a dick. So what does he have? He has nothing. He's a giant head. He's literally nothing now. He's been stripped of everything. So what is he outside of that? Is he a strong character? No, he was never a strong character. What made him strong was the things that he just lost. Everything.
You know what could have fixed this? Mad simply for me.
What's up?
If he would have called himself BroDoc. I'm not even joking. It could have been that simple. That he would have dead ass called himself BroDoc, and I would have been like, you know what? They know what they're talking about. They didn't even go like that simple. Like, that's why I'm like, I feel like it was lazy. Like, even like the moment when he was like, I'm like a brother to you, right? I'm like, y'all have the opportunity. Here we go. Ant-Man could call him BroDoc. He could call himself BroDoc. here we go. Y'all could fix all of
But
this. For me.
even in that moment, it was just like his interaction with him was like someone that's been trapped somewhere that has not actually had a normal conversation with anyone in however fucking long he's been there. He ain't talking with Kang. The people that serve him are afraid of him.
I get it.
Like
at the same time, bro. I don't know.
Like honestly, I feel like
know. I can't
if you
but I
go,
understand you though.
If you like I'm just like if you go back to the first Ant-Man and rewatch that shit without the idea of him being, he was never confident. He was confident that he had more money than everybody else, so he felt like he was a better nigga.
That's all it was, bro.
Exactly. So it's just like once he lost that, because what is money in the quantum realm? He doesn't even have a regular body, so he not even fit no more. He can't even get bitches. So this nigga's just a giant head. Like he got nothing.
A fucking genius murderer.
Exactly. And had all of it taken.
No, and then you still a genius murderer, but now you got cyber attack. And then guess what happens? A teenager that's mad giant tells you to stop being a dick. And that is the only time.
No, I'll agree with that. I'll agree that was lazy. I'm just talking about her overall character. To me, makes sense because he was never that person. And then, just like you said, like him becoming, he's kind of like in charge of, the rest of Kang's army. He still reports to somebody. So now he's not even the main nigga no more like he was in the first movie. Like he's become the person that he was looking down on in the first movie. He got to report to Kang now. And he's scared of this nigga.
And he's fucking horrible. I hate him. I don't like MODOK. I'm sorry. I understand everything you're saying. He fucking sucks in this movie, dude. Like, I really feel like if there's a version without him, I'll enjoy it.
Probably. I just literally my only thing for MODOK is if they were going to use him and the fact that they did, I'm okay with the way that they used him. Because I would have never taken this nigga serious if he was serious. Never. Like if he was his character in the first movie,
I'll accept that from you. I'm not accepting that from nobody else.
I'm just if he acted like Darren in the first movie as a giant head in this movie, I'd have been like, you're fucking ridiculous. Like there's no way, even in a quantum.
But it makes sense because he's a giant fucking head, bro. All he is a big headed ass nigga.
So imagine how many
some fucking
pride. Exactly,
know, bro.
Where would he have? How long do you think he's been in the quantum realm, bro?
It don't matter. Have pride,
you don't think he would lose that after all those years? He's been stripped of everything. This nigga,
you a bitch.
Exactly,
honestly,
he is.
When he said something, Kang said, "I should fucking kill you."
And he froze up.
Please do it.
He
froze
do it for up.
me because this movie would be better without this nigga.
He
bro.
froze up.
Oh my god.
All right, so let's talk about like a very serious. Moving serious from stuff. Giant head to something very serious. Would you get a quantum boo if you disappeared from the real world? Like how long would it take?
Because you said a quantum
boo, my nigga. Because Janet moved on. Like she went into the.
Nigga. Oh, what you mean? Not gonna lie.
How long? Like
you want
a real answer?
Or you want the politically correct answer?
Because she didn't.
Real answer is the second I'm situated with society and I know what's going on. Your boy, I'm looking for something.
She found honestly, I felt like that was like overlooked, and not even just her. I just mean in general because that's how I know Hank and Janet were like tight because they both were like, "Yo, we was fucking." I'm sorry, I didn't think. I'm sorry. Yo, I ain't know you was gonna come back. But
I ain't gonna lie. I was out there kind of wild.
I was going crazy.
I was kind of wild.
And he was like, "Yo, I had Linda. You know what I mean? I was wild too."
Said,
and they were like, "Yo,
Shorty was lit."
Yeah, and they were like, "Yo,
she just wasn't you, Shorty."
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, like." You forgive me? Yeah, I forgive you. You forgive me? Yeah. All right, cool. Let's save the world. It was also, like, yo, wait, what?
Hilarious side note. Did you see Michelle Pfeiffer say, she was like, hey, who knows? Maybe me and Kang did have sex.
Yo.
I was like, yo, Shorty.
Yo, listen. How long were you there?
But then again, they was kind of cuddling up. And they was I mean? Saying, he trusted her a lot.
He was the first person she saw in like, I don't know how long, my nigga.
And guess what? He was a strong nigga.
Hey.
Hey.
All I'm saying is,
And also all I'm saying is, look, listen.
Was it
Listen,
cheating in the
people.
quantum realm, my
No,
nigga?
no.
Like...
Beyond that. Listen. I'm not a milk merchant.
You lucky
if I'm
Black
caught,
History Month is over, my nigga.
If I'm caught with a specific type of milk in the quantum realm where there's no sisters,
oh my god,
I might do it.
Yo, how Kang find the only white woman in a subatomic universe?
What's good with him? It was like mad other races and shorties in other places.
Yo, he found the only one.
He's under investigation.
It's not
Dr.
crazy
Umar style. Yeah, Dr. Umar style, he under investigation.
Oh shit! What was she doing with Bill Murray, my nigga? Because he wasn't human. So like, how was they making that shit work?
Yo, you a weird nigga though.
Yo,
he said I'm the human. Basically, I'm basically human when you think about it.
Yo,
he was talking spicy. I didn't like it.
I ain't like that. Son.
But I also enjoyed that part of the movie.
I did. It was short, but I did enjoy that. I was just like, wait, what he said? Like,
what he just said?
I thought this was kids.
Did he say you human? Niggas say it only where it matters.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
what you mean, bitch?
What the?
That would have been me. What the fuck you mean, bitch? Fuck is you talking about? That's my wife.
Yo,
my wife?
I'll drag you all through this quantum realm, nigga. Yo, we be here all day.
Let's get crazy. Because I can get crazy. I'm Hank Pym. I'm an alcoholic abuser. If you read the comments.
Chill out. It's not a Patreon episode.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh shit, this nigga's going nuts.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm also another reason why I guess I'm shooting Cassie a little bail is, like I said earlier about the inexperience, is I'm happy to still see that there's a chance. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. The Young Avengers,
yeah,
like they're all there at this point. Like we've seen everybody. You know what I mean? We seen Cassie, Patriot, Speed.
If we
Wiccan.
are jumping the gun, and I also think this next Spider-Man movie gonna introduce Miles. He might not have powers, but they might introduce Miles
at some point. Yeah, cause they have to. Cause my nigga, Tom Holland, I think 3 more and like 2 cameos, and that's it. Like he a grown ass man now.
He gonna be in Secret Wars. He gonna be in Kang Dynasty,
and he get his trilogy. And I feel like after that, dunzo. Moving on. How could I word this? Based on how critics felt, do you agree with them or do you like not agree? Because for the most part, these niggas just act like the movie was ass.
Listen, if I'm going to be real, when it comes to critics, that is what they get paid for. So targeted hate or like targeted love is something I kind of expect. And I also feel like there's like, if I could explain it further, there's always like if I could explain it like this, there's a line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that line is like either it's like average, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's like the above wave, and then there's like the below average wave, right?
Okay.
And with the line, that's usually like every consumer, like the general public. Mm-hmm. And with the general public, what critics do is we're trying to sway all the people who like don't really have crazy knowledge to either really hate something or really like something. And that also comes with trends, and that comes with like what companies are popular and what they're not. And like I feel like with critics, a lot of things get judged unfairly unless you personally know that critic and the things that they like and the things that they don't like. So I don't like using the critic metric for movies or like for media. Like I like to experience it myself.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying, like they swayed you or anything. I just meant in general, their opinion of it overall, the sentiment for that movie was just like they don't like it.
Here's the thing.
And I'm going somewhere with that. It's a loaded question.
The loaded part of this question is like I deadass feel like I understand where they're coming from because like I told you earlier, it's superhero fatigue. like or comic book movie fatigue. Like I feel like we've either gotten really good comic book movies or we've gotten like kind of shitty, kind of lazy ones, and like everyone's also nostalgia's beating people's ass. So like we're thinking of the old days, we're thinking of the best versions of what we get, which I'm not even going to be mad at people about because people going to want the best of everything. But at the same time, I feel like sometimes nostalgia really beat people's ass so much that like they can't even watch something objectively for real. Like it has to be subjective. It has to be like, oh, well, this is Marvel, and the last few Marvel movies that I said were good, people didn't like it. So now I have to say Marvel movies are bad. And I feel like that goes into the critic question, which is why I can't fully agree with like a lot of them, because I feel like they said this movie is horrible, but they liked Ant-Man 2.
Bro, that is literally where I was going with this question.
It was horrible, but they liked Thor 4. You get what I'm saying? It's like,
exactly.
So it's like things like that where I'm just like, so now it's either, and to give them the benefit of the doubt, now it's either you're waking up to the movies being poorly made, or you're seeing the pendulum swing the other way in popularity, like, because everybody wants to hate it now, and that's cool. And you're like, I got to be on that side so that niggas don't hate me.
Yeah, because honestly, like, I literally came out the theater and I went on Rotten Tomatoes. Not like they're the fucking, end all be all.
Yeah.
But my nigga, it had an 80% for Ant-Man 2. This shit was like a 51. There's no way Ant-Man 2 is better than this movie. Not even fucking close.
When did Ant-Man 2 come out? Because I think it is like, again, no one had comic book movie fatigue back then. You get what I'm saying?
Probably not, because I didn't. But
so it's really one of those things where, like, I feel like, and you know what's I think it's funny is I've been one of those day one people that said Ant-Man 2 sucked.
Yes,
like I thought it was a bad movie.
It's not a good movie.
People like attacked me for it. Like I've been attacked on Twitter for saying Ant-Man 2 is not a good movie. It's
never been.
And like I feel like every few months I like try to do like a Marvel binge of some sort, and I'll see like Ant-Man 2 and I'll go, this is a bullshit. This is some bullshit. I cannot believe that they did this like after Ant-Man. Like this is really bad.
Yes.
And
it's a terrible follow-up.
I did not like I walked in to Ant-Man 3 with no Quantumania with no expectations besides Jonathan Majors is gonna do good. He did do good.
Of course.
And then there was a lot of things I was pleasantly surprised with. So, again, it's not a great movie. It might not even be a good movie. But it's an alright movie. And like an alright movie, you know what that means to me? You passed. You kind of did what you had to do.
So,
and then
that's a perfect way to say it. Go ahead.
And like also, like I said, it also got bonus points because it answered questions for the future because it is a comic book movie. And if I'm looking at a comic book movie objectively, a part of a universe,
you want to see how it sways
questions make that better in like I guess the grand scheme of like whatever the fuck is happening in like this universe. So I feel like the more you answer questions, the better you are. Remember, I defended Doctor Strange against y'all niggas, right? That shit didn't answer shit. Remember, that was my problem with it. Like, I was like, I would have liked it more if it answered anything. They just was like, incursions, open the gate. We gotta fucking fix this. And then they showed fucking the Evil Dead dude, and I was like, what the fuck is this? You get what I'm saying? Thor, like, just was Thor. like what?
So I would say, like, sitting here, like, listening to that, like, thinking back of, like, Ant-Man 2 and Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man 2, it fits into the specific critic role of when they say a movie exists only for the movies that come after it. That entire movie, the only purpose of that movie was to introduce the quantum realm. It served no other fucking purpose. Like, we never saw, what's his name character again? Morpheus. We never saw that nigga, Giant Man. We never saw him again. Ghost, I mean, we're gonna see Ghost later on in I believe Thunderbolts or whatever. But other than that, that entire movie was pointless. Like it was literally just we want to explain the quantum realm before Endgame. And we want to make sure you know what that shit is. So when we throw it in Endgame, it's not a surprise to you. That's the only point of that movie. That's why I like Ant-Man 3 so much. Because I feel like they took the elements of Ant-Man 2 and the whole idea of a quantum realm and gave it a story, and then you actually explored the shit. Like Ant-Man 2 was just like, yo, this is how we're gonna explain time travel for 2 hours. Like that's literally all that movie is. So when you go into Endgame
so
and they're
bad,
like, then you go into Endgame, they're like, well, see, remember if you remember,
and that
if you
wasn't
saw
even
Ant-Man
a long
2,
movie,
bro,
and that felt like a 4-hour movie.
bro, like,
it was so bad. Ghost sucks,
bro.
Oh my god, they wasted my son Morpheus.
Yo,
oh my god,
it was a pointless movie, bro.
They made the nigga giant so he could scooter a truck,
bro.
It was the worst
movie.
shit
and this shit got
ever.
an 80%. Impossible.
I'm gonna
Impossible.
be honest.
Impossible.
If you truly believe, and listen to my voice. If you truly believe Ant-Man 2 is better than Ant-Man 3, you are fucking stupid. I really mean that. And I really am not trying to insult your intelligence, but I am. Because like if you watched Ant-Man 2 and watch Michael Pena, and shout out my guy.
Yeah, that's my son.
Watch Michael Pena and T.I. and them and was like, you know what? We need Michael Pena and T.I. in Ant-Man 3. We need them in the quantum realm getting murdered by MODOK. Because that's what would have happened.
That would have 100% happened.
So,
all right.
Seriously, that's horrible.
So here's my next, because we're kind of winding down. My next question, when I just brought up the comparison between 2 and 3, did you enjoy them spending more time kind of exploring the quantum realm? Like, because I mean, up until now, it was just like giant shapes in like Endgame, and they just flew through that shit, and they ended up through time to another point in time. This time, it felt kind of Star Wars-ish. You know what I mean?
It
where
felt
like
Star Wars.
Yeah,
this movie absolutely felt like Star Wars.
There was like bars and shit, and it's like, yo, all this shit exists on a subatomic level. Like all these organisms, and you know, like a society. Like I thought that was kind of interesting to see, and where they can possibly take that in the future. Because I kind of felt like when the movie ended, and it felt like, hey, this nigga's trapped in here. I thought that was going to happen. I was like, oh shit, we probably gonna get an Ant-Man 4 with this nigga stuck in here, like trying to figure some shit out. And then he got out, and it was just like, oh, okay, I guess. So I'm kind of hoping, like I said, even though I feel like his trilogy is done, they do something where like Cassie for some reason explores it, because she made the tech somehow that could pinpoint different places in the quantum realm. So I don't feel like it's done.
Genius randomly.
Yo, just woke up one day and it was just like she was.
I mean, I get it. You're part of that family, but still.
But
what the fuck? How'd that happen?
Yo, Hank didn't even pull that shit off. Like, this is his life's work, and it was just like, okay,
I guess. It's like the same way that that this nigga Scott hand-to-hand combat is like good enough to fight a nigga from the 31st century.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because
I'm not that mad about it.
I don't feel like it was, because he was getting fucked up.
Oh no. He was no. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying. He was getting his ass beat. Absolutely. Like, it wasn't a fair fight. Like, if it was a scorecard, it would be like 10-1, 10-1, 10-1, 10-1, 10-0, 10-0, 10-0, 10-0, 10-0.
That shit made me sit up.
And then the last one was like a 10-1.
That shit made me sit. Like, I thought, like surgically, he did way more than what Thanos did to Hulk, my nigga. He broke that nigga down. Yeah,
but there was times where Scott would get some like punches and shit in, and I'm like, ooh, who's Scott been training with?
I mean, he is an Avenger. He kind of,
he got
to be able to hold his hands a little bit.
Yeah.
And he fought against a Kang with no technology.
Yeah.
So it was a regular nigga.
But
it was still a regular nigga.
That's not a regular nigga. The only reason why I say that's not a regular nigga because if you know how time works and you just get trapped in like one realm, because of the other niggas, he knew way more fighting styles.
That's true. That's true.
He
Here's
definitely
here's my pushback though. If you right now fought Mike Tyson, I'm not gonna say you would win. Do you think you would at least touch him? Would you at least get a hit on him?
I can't lie.
And I'm not gonna say you're gonna hit him and it's gonna hurt. I'm just gonna say, will you swing and it will connect with his body? At some point, yes, you might get a hit off. That's all I'm saying. I'm not giving him no type of cape because he got like, fucked up.
He got like 5 hits off.
My nigga, like it wasn't even
still crazy.
And then on top of that, remember what he said in his fight with him. I'm not trying to win. We just both got to lose. Kang was trying to fight. Kang was fighting with desperation because he was like, "Yo, I'm not trying to stay stuck in here. This nigga don't care about winning. He's just trying to make sure I don't get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, I feel it. But if I'm gonna answer that Mike Tyson question very honestly, me right now, like out of shape, I don't know. I don't know if I can get a hit off Mike Tyson.
You don't think you can get like one punch?
I feel like I have reach. Maybe it's not gonna do anything.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
it's matter.
I'm not gonna say in the long run
no,
he's gonna be like, oh,
but that's the problem. Ant-Man shit mattered. Those shits mattered.
Okay. But I'm saying like they.
But still, I'm not that nitpicky about that.
Yeah, like for
I
me,
feel
like it wasn't.
Again, we're watching a fucking live action Marvel movie,
and on top of that, they do have to ground.
If Ant-Man gets fucking like curb stomped like in American History X.
It's not a movie at that point, bro.
Kang just leaves.
Exactly.
And then how do we stop that? Unless it becomes another movie.
So for me, the way in which they concluded that, it wasn't even like he won.
He didn't win. Yeah, he
got
cheated.
lucky. You know what I mean?
He cheated.
He pushed the
gotta
nigga.
Cheat though.
Yo, he pushed the nigga into this shit. And honestly, because I feel like we going into what I really want to talk about in a second. So I'm gonna put a pin on that. Because I want to come back to the Kang shit. Phase 5, are you looking forward to it? This being the first movie, kind of ushering in where we're going with the Kangs and the whole Council of Kangs and all that. How are you feeling about going into this new phase?
Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we do the podcast, man. Combo movies are a thing that's like just a part of us.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to anything. Well, looking forward to it.
Okay.
To answer that question honestly,
mm-hmm.
Not really. Because I will answer that really honestly. Because there's no Spider-Man mentioned for real yet. And that's probably when my
that's when it's going to turn up for you.
Up.
Okay.
But for all the things that they have lined up that they want to drop,
mm-hmm.
my eye is going to be out towards it. And I'm also excited for my expectations to be exceeded. If they are. So I don't know. I'm only looking forward to the Spider-Man stuff for real.
I will say that I'm looking forward to it because kind of like what you said earlier about phase 4 and kind of like the not direction and this being like, hey, this is what the overarching story is and this is us moving that and ushering that forward. I'm excited for that because it felt like phase 4 was like, hey, here's a Moon Knight, here's a She-Hulk, here's a Miss Marvel, here's all these people. Now we can go where we're supposed to be going. I feel like I'm excited for that because of the end credit scene of them kind of saying like, okay, so the Kang shit is actually happening now. And now you get to see how this nigga was like a part of everything over all the different phases leading up till now to his ultimate plan of conquering, and how the fuck are they going to stop this nigga across all planes of existence in every timeline. I want to see how that shit happens. Because they don't have a Tony Stark no more. They don't have the OGs. You know what I'm saying? So now all these new niggas got to figure some shit out. And they've never even been a team.
Yeah, that's another part of my worries. That's also why I'm not really looking forward to it until more pieces fall in line and I figure out who's who got what powers, how they gonna figure it out. Because it just seemed like we got a bunch of random niggas and everybody gonna die.
And they did say that his kill count is going to start going up as the phases go along. How many lightning bolts out of 5? I feel like it's going to be 3 because I'm about to say 3 too.
3.
3? Yeah, see, on the same wavelength. In terms of trilogy, for me, first one, this one, then the second. I feel like that's an easy fucking call. You know
Honestly, it's first one, this one.
God damn, this nigga's treating this shit like Boba Fett.
Yeah, it don't exist. Second one don't exist.
Oh,
if you talk to my friends in the chat,
nah,
this is Ant-Man 2.
God damn,
it really is. If you erase Ant-Man 2 and just go straight into this movie, it's literally the sequel. If you erase Ant-Man 2 and just watch Endgame and go into this, it's literally the sequel.
That's harsh. Okay. Here's a little fun before we jump into the Kangs. Tell me a little about 2 Colton variants. 2 Coltons out there that exist.
One is fucking horrible.
Okay.
He's just a horrible person. Absolutely a horrible person. And then the other one, honestly, even though I hate this nigga, it might be the Night Deviant.
Oh shit!
The Night Deviant.
Don't let the Night Deviant hear that shit. He ain't gonna hear
hate me,
you calling him a fucking variant,
like
my nigga. He's not gonna like that shit.
I'm very similar to the Night Deviant.
Okay.
In like a lot of ways.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Except I don't be pulling up with them dicks. He be wilding with that shit. But if I did have powers, that's a pretty good power.
Okay. Let me see. For me, if we using the Night Deviant as a variant, the Night Dentist.
Oh, the Night Dentist, absolutely.
That nigga was crazy. I went back and I listened to that episode and I was just like, yo, what the fuck is this, bro? Like,
is he a psychopath?
Yo, that nigga's kind of crazy, son. He was moving on demon time for real, son. Like, yo, he was bugging out, son.
He's a ridiculous person.
Let me see. The other version of me, he can't draw. Can't draw.
Yo, you know what the other version of you is?
What's up?
He a relationship podcaster. He that.
He's
Oh no, you know who he is?
He's from the skit.
He the nigga that's like,
podcast?
Yo, what if you look at a water bottle
at this angle for 10 years?
Angle for 10 years.
And someone else,
right? And then someone else,
this.
they turn it around. Answer the question. What happens now? He looked at it from the side.
Different perspectives. You know what I mean?
Perspectives change.
Oh shit! All right, so Kangs. This is. I felt like this was going to be a big thing. And speaking about the end of the movie, one thing I wanted to talk about for the end of the movie was the actual ending. You know what I mean? When I first saw it, I was a little confused. You know what I mean? Because it was just like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, it just felt like it ended mad weird with Scott kind of talking to himself, like, yo, nah, we won that. We did that. Or did we? Like, is this nigga free? Like, is shit gonna be fucked up? And then when I kind of thought about it for a little bit, the whole concept of Kang is one, he knows time. He specifically said in that movie early on, the exile version, was he knows how this all ends. So when they beat him, quote unquote, that means he knew that was going to happen and he was going to end up somewhere else or some shit. And it was like all of this shit was part of the process. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was he really surprised that he lost, quote unquote, or was that all part of like, because I mean, if he saw everything and he knows how it all ends, then it's not really a surprise to him.
And he also already told him like a lot of people are gonna die. Yeah,
so it's just like, like, is that not part of his overall plan? And then
in my head, that Kang is not dead.
No,
like they hit him with the subatomic shit. So
yes,
I'm guessing
he's in the probability shit.
Quantumania goes crazy. There is something smaller than the Quantumania.
I thought they trapped them in the probability shit where you see like alternate versions of yourself, kind of like what's happened to Scott. So I feel like at some point he's gonna break free of that. Like he's not gonna be trapped there forever. Because his thing was he didn't want to go down there, and that's why he sent Ant-Man down there. True. So him going down there now, like I feel like he figures some shit out, he gets himself out, and he becomes the Kang Prime, the main, because I don't feel like we there's another version of the Conqueror. Like he is Kang the Conqueror, or he becomes that version of Kang the Conqueror. It's just gonna take time leading up to that, because it just felt like there had to be a major reason why all the other Kangs was like, whoa, that nigga,
I think he's
get
already
him
the
fuck
conqueror.
out. I still feel like there's more to it. I feel like he's because if he's Kang the Conqueror, like the main Kang out of all the Kangs, he ain't that powerful, my nigga. Like I feel like there's still more to it. Like he's gonna show up later on and be a problem to them other Kangs. Because that's why they didn't want him there. They were like, yo, this nigga's a wild nigga. Like the shit we trying to do.
Shit is like every Kang that popped up towards the end, it was like the Kang Corporation one, the Doctor Doom one, the fucking Immortus,
Ramatut,
Centennial,
King. Centaurian
King. Like it's like in my head, I'm the most excited about Ramatut.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that ties back into what I wanted to talk about earlier with Moon Knight, because they did mention Ramatut and Moon Knight, and
very true.
This feels like a great way for them to bring in Moon Knight into like their bigger universe, where it's like, yeah, he was always there, and on top of that, Ramatut was also responsible for Apocalypse. This is a great way to help usher in the mutants, my nigga. Like, so Jonathan Majors is doing a lot of hefty, according to like, if they're gonna follow, you know, somewhat of the story of the fucking comics and shit. That's a lot of heavy lifting for this nigga, because he got a lot to fucking usher in, my nigga.
Also, Victor Timely.
Yes.
And
Loki. Yeah.
And now that they're in the new timeline where Kang the Conqueror deadass exists and he's fucking out here.
Now, put a pin in that for a second. Just third eye open for a second. At what point do you think that when the end of Loki, when we meet that version of Kang the Conqueror with the statue and shit, what point do you think that happens within the overarching story of Ant-Man 3? Like, when do you because if you think about it, Ant-Man 3, Kang the Conqueror runs the quantum realm. He's the big bad, he's the main nigga. But also in this TVA timeline, Kang is the main nigga. Like so at some point they have to converge. Because he's the main nigga at some point. And if there's only one version of this version of the Kang the Conqueror, well, and that's the exile.
In my head, what I'm thinking is that Loki is gonna end up probably being the show that spans between a lot of the Phase 4 movies that we didn't understand what was happening.
Yes.
Like I feel like what's gonna happen is like there's gonna be a few episodes where like he comes in and then they have that big Kang the Conqueror statue, right? And he's talking to Mobius, and he's telling him like, yo, we gotta go stop him. And then an incursion happens because of maybe Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay. And an incursion happens because of
this nigga's big brain theory like right now. I like this.
And then another episode is an incursion happens because of the Doctor Strange movie. Another theory is an incursion happens because of Ms. Marvel. Another theory is an incursion happens because of
that would actually be a fire series, by the way.
This movie, the movie that we just seen, like Thor, and then whatchamacallit, like there's just more incursions happening. And then at the end of it, it's just like Loki trying to find the earliest version, I guess, of Kang that he could probably find. And in my head, he's going to think like 1800s black and white Kang is the earliest Kang that he could find. But he's going to realize that there's like African Kangs and like fucking Pharaoh Kangs and
Ramatut
31st century. And he's going to find out like where he's actually from.
So here's another random thing when you mentioned Spider-Man that I thought would be really interesting and a real good mind fuck. And is it the second one where he flies through the building, or is that it's the second one where he flies through the fucking old version of the Avengers Tower?
Yeah.
And somebody bought it out. What if it's Mr. Griffin?
Yeah, it could have been Mr. Griffin.
Everybody.
Remember in Loki, they had Kang Corporation.
Exactly.
And it was dilapidated, and it was the Avengers Tower.
Exactly. So what if
maybe
he was the one that bought it? The whole time we kept thinking, Baxter Building. It's got to be the bat. Might be this nigga. He's already setting up for the current version of whatever that Kang, that Mr. Griffin Kang's attack on, I don't know, the ground level heroes of the current timeline or whatever.
Bro.
It's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's also possible.
They could do a lot of shit, man.
They could go back and change a lot of shit like that. Another thing that I thought that was really fucking interesting is because they did say in the end of the movie that Kang died, and it was hard for me to believe that. They were like, oh yeah, he died. And I was just like, there's no way the Exile one died. What if the whole time they were talking about He Who Remains the whole fucking time?
They could be talking about He Who Remains, and then that's the time to like for them to
finally strike. Yeah, because he's not there no more. Because technically, he's the strongest of all the Kangs.
I mean,
because he stopped all the Kangs.
Because I also felt like there was 4 main Kangs, and the one that was exiled was the 4th one.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't feel like he's the one. Because put it like this: if he was the one that got exiled, they could have moved on with their plan because he was trapped there. They specifically said this nigga died and they can move on. I feel like it had to mean He Who Remains. He's the only nigga that could have stopped them because they were able to exile this other nigga.
That's true. It could have been He Who Remains that worked with them to make sure that they didn't fucking wild out.
Because remember, he's the one, he said, like, yo, like, once you kill me, you introduce all these Kangs. Like, I'm the only thing holding these niggas back. And it's because I control the smoke monster shit.
He could have been a part of the council. He could have been the only nigga that was actually holding it together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
so
the exiled one could, I don't know, the exiled one could be Iron Lad for all, you know.
Possible. I feel like we don't meet him yet.
Because you know what? Iron Lad will be young.
Yeah, I feel like we meet him later on, and this I'm still sticking with this. Kang is going to come back. The Exile one is coming back
because I think he is Kang the Conqueror.
Yes, I feel like whatever he learns in that probability shit, he comes back to be the Kang that some of them other Kangs is like, yo, we fucked up, and he's going to kill them niggas off. It's going to be a Kang dynasty. It's going to be a fight for the throne, quote unquote throne. And he's going to be their main antagonist because he's going to want revenge.
Last Kang, and then yeah.
Because remember, he did say at one point in the movie, like one of the reasons for his like conquering shit and trying to take over the timelines that they had is he said they took something from him. He was like, "You don't know what I've been through." Like, so he has beef with these niggas.
Yeah.
Because if they'd all be working together. They got some sort of tension there, and I feel like the only way to stop a Kang is with a Kang. Like, you need somebody that could do this type of shit that he could do. Because the Avengers, as they are now, they're not stopping those main 3 niggas. What are they going to do with a council of these niggas, bro? Like, they going to need some help. And aside from, like, an Iron Lad, they need somebody that'll tip the scale a little bit. So even if they got to, like, let this nigga kill a couple off and try to take him on, whatever. Like,
that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going to learn something. Because it just felt like it would be a throwaway to have Kang the Conqueror and Ant-Man. He loses by falling on a machine, and we never hear from this nigga again. Like, that's fucking stupid.
I don't think that's what's going to
happen. So the last thing I was saying before, like, I guess we can wrap and you give me your opinion. The ending. Going back to that. The ending of Ant-Man. I feel like he's stuck in some sort of time loop. It just doesn't feel right. Like, put it like this. He disappeared, right? From the real world. He went into the quantum realm. We don't know how long he was there compared to the real world. No, usually him feeling like he was gone for like a blip of a second was like multiple years. When he came back, suddenly people knew who he was. That same dude that was like, "Thanks, Spider-Man," was like, "Thank you." And how the fuck he know who he is now? Like, what changed? Because the whole movie took place in the quantum realm.
To another... I did feel like he probably went to another universe because when he was like, even when he was in a restaurant thinking about like, is anything wrong? Like, nothing's wrong. Like, there was mad people in the background like looking at him like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And, like, even when he was walking,
people were looking at this nigga weird.
And people were saying like, "Oh, it's just a parallel from the beginning," but I was like, "No, I think they probably tried to trick us because in the beginning it was like that's Ant-Man, that's the nigga who wrote the book, like we know him."
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the ending was like on some Spider-Man shit where niggas is like, "Isn't this?" Oh, because time probably passed different. Like, isn't this nigga dead?
Yeah, like
is
something
it-
didn't feel right about the ending. It didn't make sense, and I feel like they did it on purpose and framed it
And I
that
feel
way.
like some people just accepted him being back because it's this world. There's like superheroes, they probably will come back. Like, remember the blip happened. Like,
Yeah.
niggas seen people just reappear. So they probably like, some people probably just accepted it as like, oh, he a superhero. And he probably found his way back. And then there's also some people that probably looking at him like, yo, that nigga's dead. Shouldn't
Yeah.
he be dead?
It was weird. It was like the way they framed that, it just feels like we'll find out that
And
that
I'm
ending is going to
asking the
make more
questions,
sense.
too.
Yeah, that ending is going to make more sense later on in the phase because we're going to find out some shit about Paul Rudd. It's just not as simple as, hey, man, I feel like we did, but I don't know if we did. Nah, I think it's fine. I feel like it's going to be revealed at some point. They trapped this nigga somewhere. Like, he's not home. Something
Nah,
about
that's a
that
fact.
does not make sense to me. It doesn't feel right. Even the way it just ended when he ate the cake or some shit, he was like, ugh. We gonna find out this nigga's trapped somewhere. Or he's asleep, or whatever the fuck, but that's not the normal ending.
What if
bro.
Kang won?
Exactly. I feel like we're gonna find out he won, and then he trapped this nigga somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And he kind of put him like an endless sleep, where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna give you the world that you want. Kind of like what he offered Michelle Pfeiffer when he offered Janet early in
I
the
could
movie.
give you your time back.
I'll give you whatever you want. Know what I mean? Like, you could just feel like you won. You could have everything you want if you just give me your machine. And I feel like some shit like that happened, where we're gonna get like a rope-a-dope, and we're gonna find out he did lose. Like he lost, and it wasn't even close. And it would make sense for someone like Ant-Man to lose in that way, because he lost like that before. This nigga was trapped in the quantum realm for 5 years.
Yeah, in a more stupider way.
Exactly. So
yeah, that makes sense.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it just
That would
didn't
fix a
sit
lot
with
for me if that is the case. Let's just hope that's actually the case.
I hope Feige's listening. Know what I mean? Okay, so any final words? What else you got for me before we wrap up? Because I feel like we thoroughly dissected this movie, but give me something. Any final thoughts? Anything you want?
I'm just excited about Jonathan Majors. That is what I'm looking forward to. Jonathan Majors. That's it.
Yes,
I
feel like
and the crossover Jones, because nostalgia do be whooping my ass. I like nostalgia.
Hey man, you're a normal person. Honestly, for
Just
me
make
again,
it good.
The Council of Kangs. Honestly, I was very excited to finally
Yeah.
see all these niggas, these different versions.
And it was comic book accurate. With
Comic book accurate. Know what I
with
mean?
the panel. It was kind of a panel to panel type of situation, so it
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
The Ramata with the cyborg body. I thought that shit was mad fly.
Yeah, I was like, well, what's going on?
Yo, I just feel like, these niggas gonna be a problem for the Avengers or whoever the fuck. Like, across the next couple of shows or series or whatever, I expect to see more of him popping up, especially since they kind of showed us this is the direction now. You can't disappoint at this point. You have to continue to introduce this
That's true.
nigga into different shows and different ways he influenced and changed shit. So I'm looking forward to it. Jonathan Majors shows he got the chops to do this shit. I'm excited. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I guess we could wrap. This has been another issue of the Mighty Metahumans podcast, providing you with that high quality nerd commentary. Subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend. We on Patreon, baby. You know what I mean? Follow us on Patreon, subscribe. We got the $1 tier, we got the $5 tier, we got the Night Deviant Dennis Plus tier, you know what I mean? Pull up for that shit too. Yeah. Support us, you know what I mean? You can find me on all social media sites as Old Dirty Dennis. That's OLDIRTYDENNIS. You can find my cards, you know what I'm saying, on Etsy. That's art by Den, 2 N's. You know what I mean? Get something for your boo, get something for your side chicks, get something for your side nigga. I don't care. Get something. I got something for everybody. You know what I mean? So fuck with me there. You can find my man Colton.
The Colton Show _ on Twitter, or the Colton Show on everything else. That's Instagram, TikTok. I'm on TikTok a lot now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
YouTube. I got a website, thecultureshow.com. The merch is not up right now. Don't order the merch, but I will have merch soon.
And tell these niggas you back streaming, baby.
Oh, yeah, and I'm back streaming.
You know what I mean?
Twitch.tv/The Colton Show. You know, pull up. I've been building a lot of Pokemon builds. I did that recently. I'm about to do some reactions and shit. Pull up.
I like it. Send us home, bro. Give us a quote.
He should have. This is a quote from me. I'm just gonna preface it like this. He should have called himself Bro Dot.
Yo, we out.